Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 30th of August. So one more day and we're finalising. So as we move towards the end of the month, we're seeing, well, we saw a hammer, we saw a shooting star the day before, and the euro was seeing a bit of a hammer coming in, or is that a hanging man? Hanging man maybe on the euro dollar, but if anything, with the news yesterday from the EU, it may be erring a little bit on the more bullish side. So I'm just sort of looking at what the retail market are doing, almost doing the opposite here. They're getting a bit more bearish, and you just think, well, if they're continuing to get a bit bearish, so this has probably got some more upside here yet then. So we'll see. But for now, it looks relatively bullish from that point of view. I've sort of given up on my weekly pivot. Yesterday it started moving back down towards that point, but hit that 4-hourly 21. That seemed to be the end of that move for now, at least. With the news coming out, it gave a little bit of a kicker to the euro as well. It does look like we got some, well, potentially further upside from what we're seeing on this time frame. So it's mainly bullish. We've gone through today's pivot, which is always a good sign. That's done, so it leaves us really on the bullish side. Maybe a run back up to well, that would be Tuesday's highs then, towards that sort of area is a possibility. Now I'm looking at the longer side there. Of course, we've had this corrective move. This could be just an A, B, and it could be at some point running off for the C and running towards my weekly pivot that I've talked about too much. But for it to be even considered of that, I would need to be looking for a break of the lows here to be considering that, and it would break this trend line, I should say. But for now, it's in many time frames, it still looks relatively bullish there. Okay, cable got a good kicker yesterday from that news from Barnier. It was at the time looking quite like it was about to roll over with all those retail clients long, but ironically the long retail clients are starting to reduce. So perhaps this with the long side coming out, maybe we'll see further upside. Of course, some of those would be taking profits into the daily 50 even, no doubt. But we may have more upside here, potentially anyway. Let's see how we run through. Bit pitchy yesterday in a sense. It's got sort of overbought almost in some. Well, it certainly did on my shorter time indicators, but with it being a news event often of this nature, certainly wouldn't be looking to trade it at the moment. Has got the daily pivot below, which is often a draw. We'll see how it runs this morning. It could give up some of its gains. It's sitting there though with 1, 2, 3, 4 hourly candles sitting around that high there of 30.40. Maybe a break of that will see us pushing up further, but I don't know if we'll just see a bit of consolidation. It may just roll a little bit, and I'll just watch this. But maybe just from a distance, it's still, to me, is a risk currency. If you were short yesterday, you would have been bitten and stopped quite quickly. And with Brexit going on, it's just as I say, high risk. So you've got to consider that when you're trading, and trade smaller maybe with it. Dollar yen. Dollar yen. Well, that did the opposite yesterday. It lost its correlation, pushed up on the dailies there, carried on soft, and technically it looked like it was okay for further upside. I talked about this sort of wedge pattern that had been forming yesterday morning. Well, that ran through the midday candle, saw that run on through, and well, maybe more risk going on to other markets, and this money coming out of the yen. It's looking like it's got more potential to continue, maybe just consolidating where it's sitting at the moment. Already ticked off the daily pivot, so that's gone. So where next? Well, maybe yesterday's highs. Maybe it'll push up towards that R1 if it carries on in this route. Okay, that's the dollar yen. Let's have a look at the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar to me is still bearish. It says there's no getting away from where it really is sitting. It may get some short-term moves up here, but it's still mostly bearish. But intraday untradeable for me. I'm not really looking to do too much with it. Maybe there's a bit of weak divergence there on the 4 hourlies, and it's triple bottomed almost here on the lows. No, it's not diverged between there or there because there's slightly higher highs, so there's no divergences there or anything to talk about. It's maybe it will get a bounce, dragged up there. The dollar starts getting sold off, but it's more because of dollar weakness than anything else. Okay, Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar, as I said yesterday, it was looking strong with a stronger oil price. It's really helping it. It was a bit of an inside day. It was a definite inside day yesterday. Looking from where it is, to me, it's still got potential for further downside. Now, this obviously is a bit reliant on the US dollars continuing to weaken. It's little head and shoulders maybe on the hourly forming there, a bit of a head and shouldery type pattern there, so we could see these lows broken of around about 29.05 sort of thing. It could roll over from there a little bit more, maybe back towards its S1 and those previous lows. So that's pretty much it for me. News wise today, there's not masses of news coming out today, and very little of any significance. Now, of course, we could still get any Eurozone comments coming through regarding Brexit, so as I say, be wary of that. Today we've got the German inflation data actually coming out today. Now that does come through the morning session. That does give us little pips and jumps maybe as that starts coming through the morning. The coffee economic barometer coming out at 8 AM. Well, we'll see that in a few minutes. Canadian GDP, well, that's released on a monthly basis. It tends to have very little effect on the Canadian dollar, but may just see a bit of volatility around that. And US personal consumption data coming out. Now it's a lower rated figure, but in its current circumstances, it's well worth looking towards to see inflation that's being passed on to the consumer, and personal spending, of course, to see if the consumers are actually spending. The US depends a lot on its consumer spending, so it would be interesting to see what happens there. But very light, but it's there at 1:30. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.